I just wanted to, in the name of everyone, wish a mazel tov to Grandma and Grandpa. What are you, Grandma and Grandpa? Bubby, Zadie, Saba, Savta? All of those, because today's their grandson's first birthday. And so for those who didn't see it, I saw it on the calendar today. So that's not an advertisement for the calendar to get dates in and things like that, but at least it works for some of us. So now, when I came in and I said Mazel Tov, so right away you said, but they don't celebrate it today. They celebrate it according to his Hebrew birthday. So that's one of the things that's very fortunate. Some people like to celebrate both the English and the Hebrew birthday, especially if you're receiving presents or something like that, to be able to have both of them. So I told you the story once before, I believe, but I'm going to say it anyway with your permission. And that is, when I first came to Israel, I was walking with an American who had lived there for about 30 years or so. And I said to him, I wanted to be like very, very Israeli and everything at the time. And I said, so when does an American become an Israeli? So he said, never. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I was walking with my son the other day and I said, Rosh Hashanah is very early this year. And my son said to me, Abba, Rosh Hashanah is the same time every single year. It's the 1st of Tishrei. So he says, I've been here for 30 years and I still think of the Jewish holidays based on the secular calendar. In other words, when is it coming in September? Is it early or is it late? But his son, Israeli born, thinks in the Jewish calendar it's always at the same time. And there are Israeli kids that I know who don't know the date, their secular birthday. They only know their Hebrew birthday. There was a person who spoke once in school, and he said he does something bedavka. Bedavka means very, very specifically, he always does that. And that is, whenever he writes a check, he always writes the Hebrew date. Because in Israel, they're both valid. You can write either the English date, the secular date, or the Hebrew date on a check. And he says he always writes it in Hebrew because it's the only place in the world where you can write a document with the Hebrew date, and it's a valid, completely valid document. There's a story that a great person was once commissioned a sofer, a scribe, to write a Sefer Torah for him. And when he was going to pay him, so after a certain amount of months went by, he said, I want to pay you. Could you please give me a cheshbon, give me an account of how many days you've been writing, so I'll know how much to pay you. So he took out his diary and he said, well, in January I've worked these many days, in February this many days, in March this many days, and I still have a long way to go. It takes like approximately a year to write a Sefer Torah. And he said, so I still have another 3 months, but January, February, and March, this is how many days I worked. So he paid him the money and said, that's it, I don't want you to write the Sefer Torah for me anymore. He said, why? He said, because if you calculate things by the secular date rather than by the Jewish date, it's a Sefer Torah you're writing. I want you to calculate everything according to the Jewish calendar. Well, we're probably not going to change too quickly because we are so used to it, doing it the other way. It's just, I was wondering, when was the Six-Day War? Do you remember what month?
June 6th.
June 6th, 1967.
Yeah.
And Yom Yerushalayim, the day in which Yerushalayim was captured, was on
June the 8th.
Yes, but the 28th, the Koach Iyar, the 28th day of Iyar, which is this Sunday, which of course doesn't match yet to June because the celebration, the commemoration of those days take place according to the Jewish calendar. So we have reason to commemorate and to think of both. So when it comes to a birthday, except whenever somebody says something good on a day, it's always a good day to say it. So from all of us to you, may you have much knowledge.